There is a figure that lives inside many creatives, a charming, brilliant, emotionally rich, and visionary part of you. This figure sees the world in symbols, in dreams, in sensations others ignore. This figure is called the Puer Aeternus, the eternal boy, or as Carl Jung described him, the youth who refuses to grow up. He's magnetic. He's imaginative. He's full of possibility. And if you're not careful, he will destroy your potential. Let's talk about it. The Puer is the artist who romanticizes the process more than the product. He's obsessed with inspiration, addicted to the high of starting something new, and allergic to follow through. He wants greatness but not the road that leads there. He tells himself, I'm just waiting for the right idea, the right time, the perfect opportunity. But weeks pass, then months, and the work sits unfinished, unpublished, unlived. He feels like he could be brilliant, and that feeling becomes enough. But it's not. The high-flying dreamer is not just lazy or unfocused. He is operating under a much deeper psychological pattern. He romanticizes the process because, in the beginning stages, everything is still perfect. At the beginning of an idea, there is no risk of failure. There is no harsh reality to confront. There are no critics, no metrics, no market forces. In the first spark of an idea, he is a god, infinite, limitless, untouchable. Starting something new gives him a dopamine rush, a chemical hit similar to falling in love. Every new project, every new concept, every new rebrand feels like a fresh start, a new identity, a promise that this time it will be different. The dream is alive, and because it's untested, it's flawless in his imagination. Why does the addiction to new beginnings happens? It's important to understand, this isn't pure laziness. This is psychological protection. Starting something new protects him from three unbearable things. Vulnerability. Finishing a project means exposing it to the world. And if the world judges it, it's no longer just the work being judged. It's him. Mortality. Finishing something means confronting the limits of his abilities. It reveals the gap between what he dreamed of creating and what he was actually able to create. Responsibility. Seeing a project through forces him to accept ownership. If it flops, he can't blame bad timing or lack of inspiration. It's his fault. Thus, it's safer, emotionally, to stay in perpetual motion, always building, always ideating, but never delivering. Imagine building a roller coaster, but stopping construction after every first loop. Each time you sketch a new design, you feel like an engineer, a genius, a visionary. But the truth is, there's no ride to experience. There's no thrill for others. There's only abandoned blueprints. Starting over gives you the illusion of progress. But in reality, you're still standing in the same place. Why does he romance the process? The beginning stages are pure fantasy. No compromises. No gritty edits. No soul-crushing feedback. Only the beauty of what could be. Think about a child who dreams of becoming a rock star. The fantasy is about the concerts, the fans, the flashing lights. It's never about the brutal hours practicing scales in a lonely room, the blood on the fingertips, the rejection letters. The Puer wants the essence of the dream, but not the price. He mistakes the feelings of creativity, excitement, inspiration, freedom, for the actual fruits of creativity, mastery, impact, legacy. And because the feelings are so intoxicating, he keeps chasing them, starting project after project, falling in love with the beginning, abandoning it when reality demands blood, sweat, and sacrifice. What the dreamer refuses to accept. Artistry is not just about imagination. It's about completion. Creativity is not just divine spark. It's sustained discipline. The process will not always feel magical, and that's not a failure. That's growth. The dreamer expects inspiration to carry him to the finish line. But true creatives, the ones who leave a mark, know that inspiration is just the invitation. Work is the RSVP. Consequences of staying addicted to new beginnings. You will become a jack of all trades, master of none. Your peers will outpace you, not because they're more talented, but because they finished. Your self-esteem will rot from within as your soul accumulates broken promises to yourself. The world will stop taking you seriously. And worse, you will stop taking yourself seriously. There is a prescription for staying addicted to new beginnings, and it is a brutal one. Finish ugly. Finish small. Finish imperfect. But finish. Because until you prove to yourself that you can endure the ugly middle, the boring, tedious, humiliating middle, you will always be a prisoner to your fantasies. And no one builds a kingdom inside a fantasy. There comes a time when you must ask yourself, do I want to be remembered for what I started or what I finished? The high-flying dreamer lives only in ideas. The creative architect builds bridges from ideas into reality. The architect still dreams, but he understands that dreams are nothing without frameworks, execution, and endurance. He knows that the fantasy is supposed to die a little during the process, and that's good, because something real, something lasting, is born in its place. Start taking steps to becoming a creative architect. Not tomorrow, not when the time is right. Start now. Choose one vision. Kill the others, brutally, without apology. If you chase every muse, you'll serve none. Design the blueprint. Know exactly where you're going, even if the path is murky. The map matters more than the feeling. Commit to seeing it through, especially when it gets boring. Every masterpiece looks like garbage halfway through. Push through the swamp of doubt. This is where 95% of people quit. You will not. Accept imperfection as the price of completion. Perfect doesn't exist. Publish, release, ship, let the work breathe, then build again better. Tie your identity to resilience, not brilliance. Being a genius is a fantasy. Being a finisher is a lifestyle. If you refuse this path, you will become a relic, an aging dreamer talking about what could have been. You will watch others, often less talented, surpass you simply because they had the stomach to finish. You will be haunted by the ghost of your potential, whispering in your ear until your last breath. You were not born to be a tourist in your own life. You were meant to build monuments out of your ideas, so that when you are gone, something magnificent remains. Create like your life depends on it, because it does. This isn't just a career. This isn't just a passion. This is the war for your soul. Pick up your hammer. Pick up your chisel. And start building your legacy, brick by relentless brick. The pure and the creative industry. The creative world today is a breeding ground for the pure. It tells you that branding is more important than mastery. That if your workspace looks aesthetic, if your IG feed is well curated, if you have creative director in your bio, then you're doing the work. But here's the brutal truth. Most creatives are not blocked. They're spoiled by endless options, coddled by false praise, and terrified of committing. The pure wants creative freedom without the burden of discipline. He wants applause without rejection. He wants visibility without responsibility. And that mindset is why so many talented artists will never be great. These are not speculations, there is a psychology behind it. It is a devastating psychological reality, especially for those in the creative world. At his core, the pure is someone who clings to youth, to the fantasy of endless potential without the burdens of actual realization. He is intoxicated by possibility and allergic to limitation. Jung said the pure refuses to grow up because maturity means limitation, and limitation feels like death to him. He fears that choosing one path will kill the other paths. He fears routine will kill inspiration. He fears structure will kill magic. Thus, the pure remains psychologically airborne, drifting from idea to idea, project to project, person to person, always high on potential, terrified of becoming real. But he forgets something essential. Freedom without commitment is just chaos dressed up in potential. The Senex, the mature masculine, knows this. He embraces limits, because he knows they forge clarity. The emotional cycles of the pure. Stage 1. Elation, the spark of the divine. A new idea is born. It feels divine. The pure feels chosen, special, destined for greatness. That new idea strikes the pure like a thunderbolt. It feels cosmic, as if the universe itself whispered it directly into his ear. There's a feeling of destiny, uniqueness, and inevitability. This is it. This is what I was meant to do. A perfect example is a photographer suddenly gets the idea to create a groundbreaking photo series that will redefine fashion photography. He buys the gear, sketches grand concepts, tells everyone about it. It's like falling in love at first sight, all light, no gravity. The sky opens. You believe this high will last forever. You confuse the rush of potential with the reality of accomplishment. You mistake inspiration for transformation. You haven't done anything yet, but your emotions trick you into thinking you already have. Stage 2, inflation. I am the chosen one. He begins to fantasize about his inevitable success. He sees himself celebrated, adored, victorious. without yet having done any of the real work. The Puer begins to identify with the fantasy. He sees himself already standing at the mountaintop, being admired, respected, envied. In his mind, he skips past the work and lives inside the rewards. That filmmaker, after scribbling a few ideas, already imagines winning awards at Sundance, walking red carpets, shaking hands with directors. Actual shooting? Planning? Logistics? Budgeting? Those details feel beneath him, mere formalities. It's like looking at the blueprint of a mansion and already calling yourself a real estate mogul. You fall in love with the image of success instead of the process of building. You become addicted to the feeling of being a genius and allergic to the humility needed to actually become one. Stage 3, confrontation with reality. The descent. The grind sets in. Doubts creep up. Boredom, insecurity, and frustration appear. Reality inevitably punches through the fantasy. The work gets tedious. Progress is slow. Doubts swarm. Maybe I'm not as good as I thought. Maybe this isn't meant to be. The world, which once seemed eager to crown you, now seems indifferent, even hostile. You might know the designer who finally starts the first few sketches for the new collection. There. Okay. Not groundbreaking. Some are bad. He feels shame. He blames the tools, the environment, the inspiration. Anything but himself. It's like waking up from a beautiful dream and realizing you're still in the same room, the same town, the same flawed self. Instead of accepting this as a normal part of the creative process, the Puer panics and begins to look for the exit door. Stage 4. Disillusionment and flight. The great escape. Instead of pushing through, the Puer abandons the project, quietly or dramatically. The Puer rationalizes. This idea wasn't the right one anyway. I'm just waiting for inspiration to strike again. I'm not ready yet, maybe next year. He preserves his self-image as a genius by never testing it against the real world. The photographer quietly stops posting about the series. He moves on to a new idea, shooting travel lifestyle content. The cycle resets. It's like a man who constantly proposes marriage but breaks off every engagement the moment it's time to plan the wedding. He loves the romance, but flees from the responsibility. Each escape reinforces the fear of failure and weakens your capacity for perseverance. Stage 5. Renewal of the cycle. A new idea appears, and the entire tragic cycle starts again. A fresh intoxication. New dreams. The cycle spins again like a merry-go-round from hell. But here's the brutal truth. Each spin leaves the Puer a little weaker, a little more cynical, a little more hollow. The filmmaker now has a dozen projects he started but never finished. He has become the guy at parties talking about what he's working on, but never showing anything completed. It's like a man endlessly falling in love with new cities, but never unpacking his bags, never setting down roots. He mistakes motion for meaning. He confuses change for growth. The brutal reality is, every time you flee, you sacrifice your own soul on the altar of potential. You remain the bright, promising comet that never lands, admired for a while but ultimately irrelevant. In the end, talent without perseverance is just a beautiful grave. Eventually, the world stops believing your promises. More tragically, you stop believing yourself. This cycle can repeat for years, even decades, until the creative wakes up bitter, hollow, and resentful. The perfect example is that of the unfinished genius. You know this person, maybe you are this person. The one with 3 scripts, 5 concept decks, a brand that's always evolving, and a camera roll full of unused content. When asked why none of it is out there, they say things like, "It's not ready yet. It's not the right time. I'm still figuring out the vibe." But the truth is, they're afraid of becoming real. Because becoming real means being judged, being seen, being accountable. The dream is safe. Reality is not. Imagine a man carrying a bag of golden seeds across a wide, rich land. Each seed could grow into a mighty tree, a sheltering forest, a legacy for generations. But each time he considers planting, he hesitates. What if this isn't the perfect soil? What if the tree isn't tall enough? What if someone criticizes it? So he keeps walking, and walking, and walking, until one day he looks into the bag and finds it empty. The seeds have withered into dust from neglect. That is the Puer's fate, a life of breathtaking potential that is never, ever realized. Let's stop sugarcoating it. If you refuse to grow, your creative genius will rot into cynicism. Your life will be a graveyard of unfinished dreams. You will live in constant regret, envying those who dared to commit. You will become invisible, not because you lacked talent, but because you lacked courage. Worst of all, you will have betrayed your own gifts. If you don't kill the pure, he will kill your career, your confidence, your relationships, your legacy. You'll be known for potential, not results. Each delay chips away at self-respect. People will stop trusting you to follow through. Your brilliance will die in your notes app. It will kill your soul because deep down you'll know you ran from your own power. The longer you stay the eternal boy, the more you become a parody of the artist you were supposed to be. There is a hard survival guide for the Puer Aeternus. Land or die trying. There's a particular kind of hell, reserved only for the dreamers. The ones who can see entire kingdoms in their minds, but can't hammer a single stone into place. It's the world of the Puer Aeternus, the eternal child, the artist who never lands. The saddest part? They know they're capable of more, but their wings burn out before they ever touch the ground. Kill the fantasy before it kills you. Every time you feel that hit of dopamine from a new project idea, realize you are standing on the edge of a cliff. You can either build a bridge, brick by boring brick, or you can jump into another high, chasing another cloud, falling again. You come up with an idea for a photo series called Metamorphosis. You feel electric. You see it finished in your mind, but you haven't picked up the camera. You haven't touched a storyboard. You're high on imagination, not creation. You are drunk in the tavern of your own mind. Everyone's cheering your vision, but there is no real kingdom outside the door. Write the idea down. Treat it like a patient report, not a prophecy. Begin the ugliest, smallest task attached to it, now. Marry the mundane, the work that feels uninspired. That's the real altar where greatness is born. You don't feel like editing today. You don't feel like color grading your footage. You want the thrill, not the monotony. Congratulations. You're exactly where real artists are separated from pretenders. Creativity is a garden. You don't get roses because you dreamed hard enough. You get them because you dug in the mud every morning when nobody clapped. Set non-negotiable work hours. Work when it's boring. Work when it's lifeless. That's when you're being sculpted into something dangerous. Shame-proof your growth. Your first 100 attempts will be trash. Celebrate that. Post the ugly draft. Share the rough video. Launch the imperfect website. It's not about perfection. It's about immune system building. You must learn to take punches before you can land any. You are a blacksmith forging your own armor. Every failed piece makes you harder to kill. Finish ugly work. Proudly. Relentlessly. Publicly if possible. Deadlines are your only oxygen. You do not have infinite time. You are bleeding minutes every second. Saying, "I'll do it when I feel ready," is a death sentence. Set public, visible deadlines. Post the behind the scenes of your shoot this Sunday. Upload your messy documentary this month. When you miss them, you feel the humiliation. You learn to act faster next time. Imagine you're a diver running out of air. Deadlines are the rope that pulls you back to the surface. Without them, you drown inside your own mind. Deadlines first. Inspiration second. The perfect conditions are a myth. Waiting for the right camera, the right mood, the right vibe? That's the siren song pulling you into the rocks. You think you'll start that YouTube channel once you get the Sony A7S IV. You think you'll begin the short film once you upgrade your lights. You won't. You'll stay stuck, fantasizing, rotting. Soldiers train with sticks before they ever see a sword. You build deadly skill with what you have now, not with what you wish you had. Use the phone. Use the old camera. Use daylight. Create today. The consequences of staying a pure. If you don't kill the fantasy, if you don't marry the mundane, if you don't shame-proof yourself, if you don't chain yourself to deadlines, if you keep waiting for perfect, you will become the bitter, almost artist. The washed-up dreamer who sits in coffee shops, telling wide-eyed kids how you almost made it once. You will rot in your own untapped brilliance. You will know exactly what you could have been, and it will eat you alive every single day. A good survival mantra would be, the dream is beautiful, the work is ugly. Only the ones who love the ugliness will ever taste the dream. Here's a final truth. You don't need to throw away your playfulness, your passion, your purity. You just need to grow up and ground it. Creativity without maturity is fantasy. Creativity with maturity? That's legacy. So here's your choice. Keep living in the clouds, or finally plant your feet on the ground and build something eternal. You are not here to be a tourist in your own creativity. You are here to plant seeds. You are here to dig deep, to bleed into the soil, to build forests with your bare hands. Kill the fantasy, mourn it, and then rise, not as a boy dreaming of kingdoms, but as a builder of empires. Your future depends on it, because the boy dreams, but the man delivers, and the world needs you to deliver.